Build Belize on rock.
Crear Belice sobre una roca.
Bonagua bay balise luago dubo.
The preamble to the Constitution of Belize affirms that our nation is founded upon principles which acknowledge the supremacy of God and the equal and inalienable rights of each citizen as endowed by God, the Creator. As an independent nation, what difference does it make in having or not such a principle enshrined in our Constitution? To answer this question, let us go to those origins of Belize as a nation, vis-a-vis the vision of our founding father, George Cadle Price. In what is considered one of his most notable speeches, Appointment in History, given in 1962, George Price heeded the call to launch a new nation into the swift flowing stream of an ever-shrinking world community, and in the process of its construction, to ensure that it would be Christian and prosperous and free. Interestingly, the sacred script in the book of Joshua in reference to the sacred law states, and I quote, "Do everything written in it for you to be prosperous and successful." Chapter 1, verse 8. In repeated times, George Price associated the notion of the Christian democracy to his provision of Belize being founded upon God and on his laws of justice and charity. This is encapsulated in his address on National Day in 1963, in the advent of internal self-government. The notion of a Christian democracy in the political polarized world arena in the second half of the 20th century weighs heavily in our narrative to independence. In this scenario, the Church, since Rerum Novarum of Pope Leo XIII, had actively sought to present a Catholic social alternative to both Marxism and capitalism. It was this social alternative contained in the concept of a truly Christian democracy that proved foundational for the vision of the nationalist movement. It was the choice and the vision for the new nation of Belize. Since its origins, in every age and in every civilization, humankind has scanned the heavens in its search for transcendence. In this quest, man's understanding of his person as creature, modeled in the image and likeness of the Maker of the heavens and earth, has evolved. The divine imprint is a signature of our human dignity, which prompts us, in accordance to natural law engraved in the soul of every person, to find communion with God. Through the gift of faith and the action of grace, we align our will and intellect to live up to our resemblance with God and the manifold perfections that characterize our human nature: truth, goodness, and beauty, as defined by the Catechism of the Catholic Church, paragraphs 26 and 41. In this, man and woman become fully alive. This is what moved St. Augustine to say of God, "You have made us for yourself, and our heart is restless until it rests in you." To relegate a reference to God as secondary in our Constitution is to divest man and woman from being itself, from which flow our natural human rights that sustain our humanity and inherent dignity. George Price intimates man's interconnectedness to that being of God when he makes reference to the Belizean in our Christian democracy as good citizen of earth and of heaven, bringing earth nearer to heaven and perfecting creation. This vision presupposes the transformation of our culture in the divine circle of life to bring about that new order of social and economic progress George Price so intently desired, that which is part of the vision of a civilization of love as put forth by St. John Paul II. To this effect, Benedict XVI calls upon the world of culture not to fear in being open to God's word, which never destroys true culture, but rather is a constant stimulus to seek ever more appropriate, meaningful, and humane forms of expression, as defined in Verbum Domini, paragraphs 109. As such, let us not go astray and proclaim God is dead, as Nietzsche would say, and usurped God's place, and in that intent become our worst enemies.
Build Belize on rock.
Crear Belice sobre una roca.
Bonagua bai balise luago dubo.